Okay, the first week of present process, the practice. I already did the first week, and I will tell you a bit of my experience with that, and also what Michael Brown says in the first week. So, in the first week, he's also repeating again tools that we will use through this book all the time, in each week. Breathing technique, affirmation, or as he says, like a conscious response. For this week particularly, the conscious response is this moment is important. So that's something that you are repeating through day, through entire week. Also, you are doing this conscious and continuous breathing, 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening each day. You also have reading. Each week you have a part of reading. I will tell you a bit for this week what was about. And yes, as extra you have a diary. A diary is something that additionally was published after this book. So it's not necessary to have, it's not necessary to do with this book. I think like less people know for the diary, because more people are just doing a pure book. So a diary for me, it's really helpful because it's more like organized, and I can really have written all that questions that I'm having in my head. All these tools are necessary for us in order to replace our reaction with answering. The second week he's like explaining more, and in the second week definitely I feel like a storm of that, what he is talking about. So let's dip into the first week. Presence is difficult. He's talking about how the presence knows the best what's necessary for us in order to learn how to answer and not react on our outside experience that we see, the world, people or events. Knows what's necessary for us to have in our surface or conscious mind in order to let go. Or as he says, in order to learn, it's even better, because learning that, it's a gift, like until the rest of our lives. So we are not our body, we are not our behavior, and definitely we are not our external experiences. So the circles that I was mentioning before in previous videos are, for example, different kind of people, different kind of places, different kind of even situation. If it's something that we need to learn, presence will brought that into the surface. And we will definitely feel that. One important thing of the first week, what he is mentioning about, it's for me a really, really precious thing to know. As I mentioned that I was like studying psychology in order to understand this. And when I was into this subject, I get to some forums, I read experience with people with same problems, same feelings, same, even in psychology there is a term for that, like narcissistic parents or narcissistic person. It's not connected with Nazis, as we know, it's something different. But even Dr. Nicole Lepera, or Lepera, if I pronounce well, she is a psychologist, and I was like so surprised that she is talking exactly about this, what I found out in doing present process, like find out, I mean like living. She figured out that because she didn't had as a child something to see or to know about that. Nobody told her, nobody explained her. she needed, as an adult, when she realized that that's a problem, she needed to figure it out that by herself. And that's why she felt a long time lost and not knowing what's the problem, and thinking like a position of victim that we all often feel in this situation. How everyone is like, maybe we are born on the, under the wrong star, or maybe we have some kind of curse, because it's impossible that we always attract some kind of bad karma. And but then she realized the root and the cause of this blockage, I will tell. So the same philosophy we have in this book. And in this book you have tools how to solve this problem. She did enormous work for herself and for her changing her life and her relationship with parents, because she got conscious. Michael Brown is explaining why this happened. As a child, we get our certain habits, bon ton, behavior, routine from our parents. Dependency that we automatically have like a children, unconsciously is dictating our adult behavior. As we were acting with our parents in our childhood, and some of people even later, that's connected with the term narcissistic parents. We are replacing now parents with our peers, or with, as we want to call, others. You know, the expression, what others will think. Yeah, so connect that with this. When we are children, that's like automatical need. And it's a need for, it's a part of our biology as a humans. When we are teenagers, that's replaced with need to be accepted in crowd of our peers. When we are adults, that's replaced with a need to be successful, to advance, and to take responsibility. But all this is just a desire for reaction. Michael Brown is calling this drama. It's expecting attention from others and approval. So it can be also a contrary. It can be a need for not being assimilated in the crowd and to not progress. So that's a resistance, and it's also a need for reaction. And it's also a need for attention. Most curious thing is that we are so used to it on this, or expecting reaction of others, of the people, and also pleasing them unconsciously, sometimes even consciously, let's admit. But we are so used to it that when the time comes that we want to do something for us, we feel blame, and we also fear that other people will define us as selfish for doing something for ourselves. My first week. Okay, so my first week wasn't so scary as my second one. I can definitely see a big difference with doing this for a second time, and in circumstances that I'm doing this. I have much more peace now. I'm alone now, and before I was living with people. I was also interacting with a lot of people, and also now, but I definitely have choice now to not be with so many people as before. So that's definitely a big difference in experiencing this process. When people watched my first video, they told me, oh, I know some people that they did this book and they had like a turbulence. It's like a nightmare doing this experience, but they definitely says like, wow, it's at the end, it's like, wow, a cleaning experience mentally and emotionally, you know, but it was so hard for them. And I said, wow, like some of them told me like that was the worst experience that they had in their lives. Oh my god. And so I get into internet exploring like, what, why? And because it was like, wow, for me, of course it was hard, but it wasn't, no, definitely it's not the worst experience that I had. It's one of the best experiences that I had. What I see, why it's so difficult for some people, like through the process, is because they are doing a lot of different things in the same time. I found some girl who was like doing some other emotional, spiritual retreat in the same time when she was doing a process. Also like changing her life habits, or being in some kind of strict diets, like for losing weight. He is really telling us at the very beginning about this, like it's really not recommendable to do other things while we are doing process, because this is a process and it's affecting all our life while we are doing that, because this is our life. It's becoming, these are just tools to become aware of life that we had, life that we are having now, and the life what we want to live. So this is enough. With just this, you will change a lot of habits, bad habits, because with this book you will learn how to love yourself. So what I can see is that now that first experience wasn't like this. Now I'm definitely more aware, because in the pause between first time and this time, it passed like around 1 year, and I did a lot of spiritual, mental, emotional work. So that's why now this process is literally, and my circumstances change, as I said, but I think it's more about my work than circumstances. Like now I'm feeling symptoms from the very first day. Like I did one day, I had a dream. I had a lot of dreams, and it never stopped. So now I have every morning, and it's always more than one dream. Because I'm doing this diary, I'm always writing all dreams, but sometimes I cannot remember. So, but what I can remember, I can just say, firstly was always some kind of situation, and at the end of the dream, it's always pops up some of my friends from my childhood. Yeah, so it wasn't an accent on those friends, but it was something connecting with them, how I felt in that, and or how I felt because of them. And the situation is something that I am still having as like a trouble or a block or emotional block or whatever. That's what I realized. You don't need to analyze this. It's just if something is clear for you. I was also really curious that 2 nights, one night I was dreaming, 2 nights I was dreaming like 2 friends with whom I am still in contact, but not so often. And so one night I was dreaming one friend. As I told you, like there is like some event with me and unknown people, and accent in some kind of emotion. And at the end of the dream, it's always some friend there, you know? And so I dreamt one girl. She is actually a friend from my childhood, and I'm still in contact with her. And the next day she was texting me on Facebook. Next night, I dreamt again some other situation with another friend. She's my friend from another country, and also a friend from a childhood, and also we are in contact. But we are not often, like we are not like texting each day or each week or each month. So, and next day after that night of dreaming her, she also texted me. So I dreamt 2 people, and I had an and they contact me. So that was something curious. I don't know if that's something, I don't need to find a meaning. If I see a meaning in some of dreams, it's fine. It should be like that, okay, in the process. I do see a meaning of some of dreams, and not just dreams. I will talk about that in the second week. But what can I realize is that at the end of the first week, it already started. It already started that turbulence that I will have in the second week. Really, and honestly, I can even see what is that about. It's a feeling of being left down. It's a feeling of being left down in someone that you gain trust, and or someone is giving you false promises. So all that package is a baggage that I was carrying, I think, through my adulthood, from my childhood. I also figured out a feeling of accepting love, like that accepting something is connected what other people will think. In my case, like the first week was really an accent on dreams, because I was really surprised how many dreams I had and how many people really from childhood. Also, he is talking about when we are dreaming adult, older than we, woman, that's representing our mother and our relationship with our mother. And the same with the man. It's representing our relationship with the father. So it's something to think about as well.